Hello, sports fans. Mauricio here. Well, it's time to add customers. Again, we're doing a Shopify sales and inventory system. So we have products now. You were asked to make a categories table, so let's take a look at that. So what are some things that could go wrong? Category ID needs to be a primary key. Category ID also needs to be auto number. This identity specification, you have to click the second one down here to make it auto number. All of these other fields have to have a default value of 0. Especially if they're running totals. But it is, so we're going to say profit plus whatever the current invoice is. And so if we don't put a default value of 0, then when we add a row, a new category, then it'll just say null, N-U-L-L, in that column. Null plus 10 equals crash the computer. 0 plus 10 equals 10, so we have to start at 0. So that's our categories table, and we'll have 3 categories and just 5 or 6 products. This is not an exercise on typing. So something to train your eye on is the little asterisk. If you have a little asterisk there in your tab, that means it's not saved yet. So just go ahead and save that. And the little asterisk goes away. So your work is not saved when you're changing the schema. Your work is not saved until that little asterisk goes away. And then again, let's just cover that you won't be able to make changes to your schema unless you do tools, options, designers, like designer close, and then take out that checkbox. Prevent saving changes. So that's pretty important. So now we're moving on to customers. Again, customer ID needs to be primary key. So that would say set primary key. These are all the data types. This is the schema. The table schema, which is the names of the columns, any restrictions, any default values. Are they auto number? What's the data type? We're going to use int and varchar, date time, numeric. So again, numeric 40. In this case, the number could be 4 numbers wide, 0 to the right of the decimal. So if you had like sales price, that would be like 8 comma 2, 8 total digits, 2 of which can be to the right of the decimal place. So then the number would be 6 to the left of the decimal plate, 2 to the right decimal plate. If you ever get a truncate error, then you have to come back to your schema design and update it. But please go ahead and make these changes. This total revenue needs a 0 there, a default value of 0. So again, this is the customers table. I'll just go ahead and hit save there. And you could, and we have started by just clicking edit and then typing in rows. And this is, you could also just highlight one and hit the delete button if you wanted to delete it. It's nice to see the customers table here and all the columns. We are going to use a SQL stored procedure to add rows, and I'm going to explain that to you now. I do want to mention that in the 325 portion or class, or the web portion of the Pullman class, or the separate 325 MI's 325 class, we're going to build a web page with a data entry form to save this customer. And when you click this button, it's going to run the store procedure that we're creating. Now it's a slightly different version. When we go to the web, we'll have a feedback output variable so we can see messages or error messages. So I went ahead and we don't have that now, but we are going to use this nice print. So rather than set output variable equals this text, and again, text is in single quotes. So all you Excel users, I believe text is in double quotes in your formulas. Here it's a single, text is in single quotes. All right, so use go create procedure as. So I usually like this create or alter procedure. But again, these are our input parameters, and we'll go ahead and create this stored procedure. It adds rows of customers, and then we'll execute it. And so you would theoretically make the database table, set it up, create the stored procedure, and then give the stored procedure to someone to use. And we'll show you how to use it, but that's kind of janky, so we'll switch at some point to creating a web page. And I'm using ASP.NET. If you want to use some other language, that's fine. But packaging up the functionality, data processing functionality in a stored procedure means that the top level app can be anything that works with SQL stored procedures. All right, so here's the name of our and I just added SQL here because this is a little bit different version than the one that I've been using for the web class. So you don't so don't worry about the name as long as you put the names of your stored procedures in your documentation, and then you know the names of your stored procedures. They don't have to be exactly like what I name them. And again, in your database, you have the tables, so you can go see your tables, and then you have the stored procedures. So you can see I've been a little busy, and I put all these at the top. Save a new customer. So I just clicked modify, and then this came up. So these are our input variables. Those are the values we need to supply. If you don't supply those values, it'll just crash and say, hey, you didn't give me the data I needed. So that's pretty important that we provide those values, and that's when a web page comes in handy, because you can make sure that there's values, and if not, pause and tell the program user to please type in the values. But again, use go create procedure as, and then begin, and then end at the bottom. So let's see what we got. We have two local variables. Local variables, you don't supply the value when you execute the procedure. It's a local variable inside the stored procedure. All right, so what does this mean? This is a subquery actually. That's even a little advanced. So select star from, select all the rows from the customers table where it's the first name and last name. So this first name parameter is passed in, and then we're going to say, oh, are there any customers? Do any of the customers have this first name that was typed in, and do any customers in my table already have this last name? And so if Mary Smith is already in your database, well, you can't have a customer, and that would be bad to have duplicates. So even though, we're just learning how to use this content, but of course there could be two Mary Smiths, so we'd have to do something more powerful than this, but this is a good start. So if the first name last name combination already exists in my customers table, then print, hey, give a message, we already have that customer, and then return, which means stop. So again, if it's interesting, there's no then and there's no end if, so sorry, it's kind of different. But if test condition begin end, and all the code happens if this test condition is true. So if there's already somebody with this first and last name, give a message, and then return, which means stop. If this not exists, then go ahead and count up how many customers there are. So select count, counts up the rows. Count the rows. So that's how you count the rows of a table. Select count, count star. And we're going to, by the way, coding goes, when you see an equal sign, it goes right to left. So get the number like 6 and then set it to this integer variable. So beginning number of customers is an integer variable. Ending number of customers is an integer variable. So go ahead and do our insert statement. For full name, we're going to concatenate. And that's how you do concatenating. You just concat and then put in the value, comma, second value, comma, third value, comma, and then just keep going, comma, 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 and then it'll all get put together. And this works with text. I never tried to use it with numbers, but we're gonna, by the way, these column names, just drag them over. So I'll just drag over rank. Just drag them over and put commas between them. Don't type them. You'll have typos because you're human. But what can go wrong? A typo, and then you don't, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have to provide 7 values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So go ahead and do the insert statement, and then go ahead and count up how many customers. There should be one more. So if the ending is more than the beginning, then probably we added the customer. So this is how you give a message. So print, and this is concatenation in SQL. I'm going to put char 13 or character 13. That's just go to the next line. So that's like carriage return, or just new line, go to the next line. And a print statement is just a nice message to have, but everything has to be text. So our number has to be converted into text. So this is how you do it. Convert to nvarchar, whatever that value is. And let's go ahead and give this a try. Okay, so what I do actually is I just copy the store procedure and all the input variables over to a new query window here, and then I just paste it in there and kind of get it all ready, and then just change these to equal signs, and you could say I've already done it. So so I really encourage you to drag over the names of the tables and columns. So right now we can go ahead and, by the way, whatever you highlight, that's the code that it runs. So let's go ahead and add Louis Shelton, a guitar player. If you ever heard of Jackson 5, I Want You Back. I encourage you to watch Louis Shelton, Jackson 5, incredible guitar player, the original guitar player for the Jackson 5 a long time ago. So let's just see if this works. So we're going to execute this. And it looks like it worked fine. They didn't purchase anything yet. So this first purchase I'm using as a when did they, so we would only add a customer if they're ready to buy something. So first purchase is today. And it seems to have worked. What could go wrong? Well, you could, for example, not put a date into single quotes, or this address field. But I call the tables column street address, and the variable input parameter is address. So they don't have to be exactly the same. It helps if they are, but that needs to be nvarchar. That's text. So if you typed in a number here, it would say, "Hey, you can't do that." In fact, let's give it a try. Your address is 456, and I guess we better change this to. So it threw an error and it wouldn't let us do it. So it's working. So please go ahead and create this SQL store procedure, and let me know.